Hello, hello. If you're joining me again or are visiting for the first time, thank you and welcome. I'm Michelle Wood. I'm the owner and founder of Wow Moment Design. I'm a lifestyle designer and I mentor high-achieving women to feel more present and alive in their lives. So if you're interested in my lifestyle coaching programs or resources, feel free to visit me at my website, which is www.wowmomentdesign.com, or go ahead and click subscribe so you can get more lifestyle strategies for living your best, most colorful life right here. So let's get started. Today we're talking about how to overcome holiday frustrations and make the most out of your holiday break with your family. So today Cameron and I were talking about the upcoming Christmas and New Year's holiday, and we thought to ourselves, wait a minute, our boys, we have two boys, Dash is 3 and Jude is 1, their daycare closes for almost 2 weeks during the holiday vacation time. And I would be lying if I didn't have a little mini panic attack about what it was going to be like keeping 2 toddlers busy for almost 2 weeks. If you've got young children at home, let me know if you're experiencing some of those same kind of anxieties around having your kids home for an extended period of time during the holiday break. And here's the thing, I'm so excited for the holidays to be coming. There's going to be obviously Christmas Day and all the relaxation time that we're going to get as a family. That part I'm absolutely looking forward to. But then there's the part where, toddlers and young children, they're going to get to be a little stir crazy, especially if you're someone who lives on the East Coast or in colder climates where you might be snowed in. Luckily, I'm in the desert. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, so we don't really get as much of that. But I have some thoughts on why this might be a little more frustrating and anxiety-inducing for high-achieving women. So here's the thing, if you're type A like me, you might be feeling a little bit anxious around the upcoming holiday break for a few reasons. Maybe you have family or guests coming into town and you're concerned about family dynamics. Maybe you have a sister who's overly critical when she comes to visit, or maybe you have older family members who question your lifestyle and why you do the things you do. Maybe it's just the logistics around getting your home ready to receive guests. I know that can be quite an undertaking. In fact, I remember a time I was literally doing laundry up to the minute that my brother's plane landed one time. So I can definitely relate there. You might just be worried about all the things that you need to get done, and you feel like the only way you're going to be able to relax is getting everything done, and you can't help but notice the things that need to be cleaned up or picked up, and it's only then that you'll be able to sit back and really relax. You might just be worried about your kids being cooped up in the house during the holiday vacation while they're home from school. I know I am definitely not a stranger to sibling bickering. These are all pretty normal feelings, and I'm going to be sharing with you today how you can overcome some of those fears and worries that you may be having about the upcoming break, and how you can actually make the most of the holiday time with your family. First, let's talk about why you might be feeling this way in the first place. Anxiety often manifests itself as anger, and believe it or not, men and women experience anger and express anger in different ways. If you find yourself in a situation where you might be experiencing criticism from a family member or a feeling of loss of control when it comes to all the things to get done for the holiday, or your children bickering and fighting with one another, or just simply not following directions, those can definitely lead to and are perfect recipes for feelings of anger. And that's totally normal. And just know that. I want you to know that. I want you to be able to take that away from this video. It's normal. Repeated stress is ripe for feelings of frustration. And men who tend to be more assertive, they feel okay with expressing their anger outwardly. Whereas women, we tend to explain away our anger, calling it frustration, or just maybe we're just tired, and that's kind of how we deal with it and cope with it in the moment. But there are actually some other things you can do as kind of a preventative for these repeated stressors that might come up. Think about it. If you are in a position where it's almost like a pressure cooker of stress, family, bickering children, not being able to get work done because, let's say, you have to take time off for the holidays to be home with your children, or you have to arrange alternate care for them. Having all of those repeated stressors, that definitely adds to the pressure in the situation. And as a result, you're experiencing those feelings of anxiousness and anger. So now let's get to the good stuff. What can you do to kind of prevent those pressure cooker of stressors that surround the holidays, and in turn make the most of that holiday time so you're happier, more joyful, more relaxed? Who doesn't want more of that? And you can actually enjoy that time with your family. I know for me, when Cameron and I were talking about the holiday coming up with our two boys, again, I was having this kind of mini panic attack. And I thought, well, what can I actually do to make the most of this time and kind of put those feelings of anxiousness aside? So I hope this is helpful for you too if you're having those kind of similar feelings. I want to know if you're someone who feels like they're routine averse. I'm somebody who's kind of free-spirited, and when I think of routine, I think of structure. I get kind of bored of routine pretty quickly. And this is what I've come to learn, is that routines are actually freedom. And so the first thing that you can do is let's say before your family comes in for the holiday, or your guests arrive for the holiday, or before the kids finally come home for their winter break, set a routine in place. What are your days going to be looking like? Now, you can have some flexibility woven into that routine. It doesn't have to be so structured and rigid. You can kind of set aside times where you can break from the routine, or maybe have free time for the kids, and you can make this as flexible as you want. But having a structure or some sort of guiding tool for you there that you decide on when it's going to be, that will help you feel a little more in control of everything going on and all the dynamics that are coming into your world at that time. Another thing you can do during this time is set boundaries in place, especially when it comes to family dynamics. Now, I don't know what your family dynamic is. I can't speak to every specific situation, but what I can say is this, and I kind of like to picture a duck with water rolling down its back, and you feel those emotions start to bubble up. Maybe it's a comment from a family member, and to them it's made innocently, but to you, you definitely take it to heart, and it starts to kind of affect you and make you feel a whole range of emotions. Your boundary can be, I'm not going to let this affect me. You can go to another room and just take a break, take a 5-minute time out, whatever you need. The more you can protect yourself and your emotional status at that time, the better. So we've talked about setting boundaries in place. We've talked about setting a general schedule for your family and yourself during this time, but I also want to talk about setting aside some time for you to get what you need to get done, because I know my anxiety starts to bubble up when I feel like there are all these things on my list that I'm just not accomplishing. Because if you're making a point to build into your schedule, your routine, a time for maybe it's an hour or two, for maybe your husband or your spouse or your partner takes the kids for a few hours, so you have some adult time to yourself to focus on other things, that can be really helpful. And another thing you can do, and you'll have to pardon my cheesiness here, is you can choose to focus on the positive. And so what I want you to do is think of some ways that you can incorporate the positive into your everyday. Let's get real here. Let's think about what that really means. Funny quotes or lovely quotes that make you feel good. I think that's wonderful. Or maybe if you like going outside, you can set aside some time every day to make sure you're getting that time in nature to reconnect with nature and make you feel really good. Maybe you have a book that you love to read and you just want to make sure that you factor into your holiday break some time to be able to read that book. Maybe when it comes to spending time with your family, there are certain activities that your family particularly enjoys. Make sure that's included in your schedule, because it's easy to let the routine fall by the wayside, and that's okay because, hey, you're on vacation, right? But even if you're in vacation mode, you can definitely take some time to still do the things that your family loves to do. So maybe it's taking a day trip to somewhere that you all enjoy together. Maybe it's hiking. Maybe it's going to a movie together as a family. So it's thinking about those things that you know bring some joy and happiness into your world. And so it's totally normal if frustrations and anxiousness and worries pop in, but if you just kind of set a reminder to yourself to do something that brings you some time, some peace, some enjoyment, maybe it's taking some time to write in your journal to just reflect on how things are going, all of those things put together and combined will make you feel happier and more relaxed during this extended vacation time, this family time. So you'll feel more equipped and empowered. You'll be able to make the most of this time with your family. So thank you again for being here. If you do want to find more ways that you can incorporate daily moments into your everyday to make you feel good, then definitely check out the link in my bio. It's the Ambitious Mom's Micro Guide to Slowing the Clock and Savoring Life Without Losing Momentum. And I have 50 ways that you can incorporate small moments in your everyday that will make you feel happier and enjoy life without feeling like you're losing momentum on your goals and the things that you really want to do. So thanks again for being here, and I'll see you soon.